48 hours until game time against, you know who, the Jets. We'll talk about the offense and what they need to do in order to beat the Jets defense. We'll also get on the other side of the football and talk about the defense. Myles Garrett only needs 2 sacks to break Clay Matthews' all-time sack record for the Browns. We'll tell you whether or not he gets that done or not. And, of course, we'll give you the keys to the game and keys to victory for the Cleveland Browns. It is the Locked On Browns podcast.
You are Locked On Browns, your daily Cleveland Browns podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends, your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound LGB on the LOB, the Locked On Browns podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Pre-game edition, week 2, Cleveland Browns, New York Jets, Cleveland Browns home opener, First Energy Stadium. Browns currently sitting at a comfortable 6.5-point favorite in this game Sunday. Today's episode of Locked On Browns is brought to you by Bet Online. As you covered this season with more odds and lines than ever before, Bet Online, where the game starts. As always, we appreciate everybody who makes Locked On Browns their first listen every day, whether it is on your favorite podcast platform or, of course, available now on YouTube. Subscriptions over there just keep running up, and we appreciate you guys as we go down this new path here. Before we even get started, was asked to, so quick birthday shout out, Jay Kane, 41 years old yesterday. Hope the Browns can continue a great birthday weekend for you by closing out with a victory on Sunday over the New York Jets. We've got into a bunch this week. Obviously, you got a lot of post-game coverage. You've got John Costco, you got Tyvis Powell, the crossover with John Buchko, and now here, the final prep, getting you ready for Sunday. New York Jets come in here, and again, second week in a row, the Browns are kind of in an advantageous situation going into a game. Last week, Baker Mayfield, totally not installed with the Carolina Panthers. This week, the Jets are coming in here with Joe Flacco. And a lot of talk in the media about Joe Flacco. Can we be honest here? Joe Flacco's 36 years old. All right. We're not talking about the Joe Flacco for years of the Baltimore Ravens, who was a solid quarterback in the day. Joe Flacco is not supposed to be starting in the NFL. He is not, very similar situation in the Browns with Jacoby Brissett. Neither team, this is the guy they want out there. This is the guy they have to have out there, essentially. So, Joe Flacco coming in here. But we're going to start a little bit on the offensive side of the ball. And, the Jets did a good job last week against the Baltimore Ravens in stopping the run. It's a big difference when you're talking the Kenyon Drakes of the world versus Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, and this Browns outside zone scheme in this Browns offensive line. Right tackle situation. Jack Conklin, Chris Hubbard still have not practiced to this point. And Garrett and I actually were talking about this the other day. Jack Conklin is an interesting situation because with the Browns playing Sunday, the Browns playing Thursday, I think you have a theory there that if it even all goes well, Jack Conklin probably only play one of those games. So I don't think you're going to see Jack Conklin Sunday. I don't think you're going to see Chris Hubbard Sunday. Kind of like a do not disturb. James Hudson did the job against Carolina Panthers. I think, the Browns have always had faith in him. They believe James Hudson is going to be a player in the future for this team and get significant playing time. So I think we're going to see James Hudson again here on Sunday. So, that's obviously a matchup to watch here. For me, a key one here is obviously, CJ Mosley, good linebacker for years with the Baltimore Ravens. His tenure with the Jets didn't start off all that great after being a big free agent signing. But this is a test. He played well last week, but it's a whole different animal this week, Garrett. You got Nick Chubb, you got Kareem Hunt, and we'll get into a little bit more here. I'm excited to see Sauce Gardner paired up against Amari Cooper, but I think Jacoby Brissett, and to Jacoby's credit here, there were some things left on the field last week that I think you're going to give Jacoby Brissett if he gets a second opportunity. He's not going to leave these big plays on the field this week.
If you got 4 or 5 plays, Jacoby Brissett doesn't need to hit 100% of those. We're not asking him to do that level. Now, don't get me wrong. If he want to hit all of them, we go take all them throws, right? And I'm sure as a professional, he holds himself to a standard that he believes he can make those throws, and he believes that he'll get better from week 1. But we only need a couple of those throws to be able to, keep guys off the line of scrimmage, making sure that we can run the passing game, get play action, and stop people from putting 9-10 guys in the box. I think all those things are on the table, and I think that's not asking too much of Jacoby Brissett. When I look at this game offensively, stick to what you do, right? You make another person stop you. Just because it's easier said than done. Like, I'm not going to stop running the ball because you threaten idly that you're going to put 8 guys up there. Who cares if you put 8 guys up there? It's all about execution. If you know Nick Chubb is getting the ball, don't mean you can tackle him. If you know Kareem Hunt is about to get the right, it don't make it no easier for you to tackle him one-on-one in open field. And all it takes is one miss, and we're off to the races. So for me, I'm a proponent of, if you throw the ball all the time, don't get cute. That's what you practice. That's what you work on. It's about execution. Running the ball is no more difficult or easier than passing the ball. People think that you could just pass the ball and it's easy. Nah, they get paid on the other side too. But at the end of the day, I could go ahead and come into a game and feel solid about who I am and win or lose. If I come in and I say my best attribute is the run game, my best players are running backs, I'm not going to try to recreate the wheel and go opposite. Now, do you have to sometimes give them a wrinkle here or there? Sure. But at the end of the day, the Cleveland Browns, you'll hear from this week on out through the rest of the season, well, at what point in time are they going to just stack the box and listen, good for you. Clap it up. Beat me. You got to stop me. That's the mentality that the Cleveland Browns should have going for this week as well as the next week. That's like saying Patrick Mahomes is at quarterback. And you like, well, they got a good pass defense. Who cares? We're going to see if you can stop Patrick Mahomes today. You don't come out and run Clyde Edwards-Helaire 45 times. You put the ball in the best playmakers' hands and let the chips fall where they may. I think the Browns do that this week. You see another classic dose of Hunt and Chubb, and I think they can really get really put up some yardage today, especially on this Jets defense.
In regards to Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, chunt is not something that's going to happen, folks. Bury it, kill it, destroy it. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Another thing to look out for here. Obviously, the Browns did have some issues trying to get the ball vertically down the field through the passing game against Carolina Panthers here. The Jets have one safety who's worth a grain of salt. His name is Jordan Whitehead. Jordan Whitehead is nursing an ankle injury, so that's certainly something to look forward to. So between the hashes here, and we're talking David Njoku, we're talking Harrison Bryant, we're maybe talking Kareem Hunt on some of those Texas routes, hard out, boom, then right over where the linebacker roll is when they basically vacate the middle. Amari Cooper over the middle. We're definitely looking for some deep shots here and some working over the middle. Just, the defense is young. It's promising. Safety is an issue for this Jets defense. Defensive line played well last week. And look, I don't want to discredit that. That's fine. But, and their interior play played pretty good. Okay, you're now going against Wyatt Teller, who was just mauling dudes last week. Joe Batonio, the ever consummate professional. Ethan Post looked pretty solid in his debut last week. Tackle play, Jed Wills, a lapse or two last week. I'm going to put this one on Joe Thomas. We've been talking a lot about Jed Wills this week, and Joe says it's all there. He says it is all there for Jedrick Wills. It's just a matter of when the switch actually goes on. And, for James Hudson, look, it was a strong debut. And again, I keep talking about this. They love him in that facility. The Browns will value guys who are going to willing to put in the work. James Hudson is one of those cats. So, yes, the Jets maybe felt good about the way they lost to the Ravens last week. A whole different animal, this offense. You even if you know what's coming. And guess what? You're going to sell out. That's fine. But do you have the safeties to help out somebody if Amari Cooper schools him? Do you have the safeties to help out? Donovan Peoples-Jones is becoming, with his body, and we saw it last week with several contested catches, he starts going vertical. We know he's an athlete and he can go vertical. I think part of the Browns' plan with running Donovan Peoples-Jones on some of those shallow routes was the fact they know he can get vertical. And Garrett, I've talked about this. The problem with Donovan Peoples-Jones was running the short intermediate routes. He starts doing that with success like he did against Carolina Panthers last week. Guess what? Now we get back to what is the great of Donovan Peoples-Jones, his ability to get vertical. So I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities there for this Browns offense on Sunday versus the Jets. I know, again, the Jets defense is pretty good. This is a whole different animal, though. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, and these guys, after what they did last week, they understand that they are pivotal. They understand that they are the key to this Cleveland Browns offense going further. We're going to flip it up. We're going to get to the defensive side of the ball here. I got people hyped up Joe Flacco at 36 years old, and the only reason he's playing is because Zach Wilson's got a knee injury. Let's just stop with that. Jeff Lloyd, Garrett Bush, your latest Locked On Browns. Turo is the world's largest car sharing marketplace. With Turo, you can book any car you want, wherever you want it, from a community of local hosts. Browse a huge selection of vehicles for just about any occasion or budget across the U.S., Canada, and the UK. Book a spacious SUV or minivan for a family road trip. Get a classic or luxury car for a special event, birthday, or holiday. Find affordable economy cars if you're on a budget and just need to get from A to B. Test drive that new electric vehicle you've had your eye on to see how it fits you for your everyday life. Many Turo hosts can even deliver the car right to you. Every trip is backed by liability insurance. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. Ditch boring rental cars and find your drive at Turo.com.
Welcome back to the Locked On Browns podcast. G. Bush, Jeff Lloyd, and we are here just a little under almost 2 or 3 days into the the Browns take on the Jets. And I'll tell you what, it's kind of exciting, man. We got a new field, got the elf broke the internet. We got, the new field for the Cleveland Browns broke the internet. We look at it also, so you got a couple things now. You got new uniforms last year. They gave you the orange pants. Now all y'all need to do is give us another alternate helmet, and we'll be right back where I need y'all to be. Some people don't be art uniform guys. I'm definitely uniform, field, anything. I put my Christmas tree up if I could right now. That's how I like decorations and ornaments. But I digress. Let's get back into it. Make sure you hit the Locked On Browns podcast wherever, and make sure you download it wherever you get your podcast, and make sure you go ahead and subscribe on YouTube. Hit the notification bell so you know when you're about to get going. Jeff, we go offense. Let's go defense a little bit. And I look at this Jets team, and we did the crossover. I look at the team, and I don't see too many guys that should be able to hurt the Browns. I don't look over and see a guy where I say, oh, if this guy gets loose, he's going to get, so he's going to put up, 21 points. Or if I see this guy, he's a home run threat in the backfield. Or you got to watch out for this receiver because he can take the top off the defense. Yes, they have Garrett Wilson. Yes, they have some other guys and some highly touted guys, Brees, in the backfield. But for me, it all comes down to the quarterback position. Because, I look at Joe Flacco throwing the ball 60 times. If Joe Flacco throws the ball 60 times, Myles Garrett going to have 10 sacks. They're going to be in trouble if they can't find a nice little balance. And to be honest with you, at this point in his career, Joe Flacco's not it. He's not the answer. And when you look at what they're able to do against the Baltimore Ravens, a little bit of that was in garbage time. Now, can the Browns come out here and underestimate them? No. Browns, you can't underestimate any team in the NFL, period. Because any team can come out and beat you. We lost to the Jets a couple of years ago. I believe that was in 2020 when we went up to New York, and we didn't have receivers because of COVID, and we got beat to sleep by Sam Darnold. Now, not saying that this is a very different team. This is a very different focus that this team has. We got a new quarterback, guys all around the roster. We've improved a lot of different areas. I just don't believe that when you look at what the Browns have and the level that they were able to play against Baker Mayfield, you're now playing against Joe Flacco. They don't have the same level of skill positions like a Christopher McCaffrey. And look how well the Browns played, except for about one or two busted plays, which gave an opportunity for the Panthers to put points on the board. I just don't think in the long term they have enough to sustain what the Browns are going to bring to them. And I think it's going to be a pretty rough defensive day as far as the Jets offense is concerned.
Well, I mean, the first thing you're going to spotlight here, and we probably can do this almost every single week, is the pass rush abilities. And from George Fant, it seems like George Fant isn't thrilled about being a left tackle. He's signed to be the right tackle. And then basically, once Mekhi Becton went on injured reserve, ending his season, they went outside Dwayne Brown. So George Fant's like, well, you want me to play left tackle, but meanwhile, you had this opportunity. I'm already in the house. And you went out and spent $11 million for a guy who was here, before his coffee even got cold, ended up on IR for 4 weeks. said George Fant, and I'm going to tell you something. Part of it is because week 2, we got Myles Garrett. That's probably part of what George Fant is thinking. You got a rookie Max Mitchell starting on the right side. And, from everything I saw, watching through the Jets-Ravens game a couple times, he represented himself pretty well. But again, this is the difference between the Browns roster and other rosters in the NFL. Oh, yeah, we looked good last week. Okay, did you look good like you're ready to play Jadeveon Clowney good? Did you look good like you're ready to play Myles Garrett good? This is a whole different ballgame. And now Joe Thomas has kind of become like a surrogate big brother to this roster. We all know this. Joe is willing anytime that these guys want anything he can help with. They're going to be putting Joe Thomas into the ring of honor. Myles Garrett is sitting there saying, wait a minute, here in the home opener where this team is finally 1-0, this place is going to be geeked up, and part of it's going to be because of that damn elf, as we all know. Place is going to be geeked up, and Myles Garrett knows in the back of his head, I can cement myself as the all-time leading sack contributor for the Cleveland Browns in their history with my man Joe Thomas in the building, with a geeked-up crowd riding the high of being 1-0 finally for the first time since 2004. Now we get to a couple other things here. Michael Carter at the backfield, nice back. He can do some things in the receiving game. As John Butchko told us the other day, it looked like Joe Flacco was just taking his read and saying, all right, to the back. All right, I'm going right to the back. I'm going to the back. Well, that's where Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah comes in, and that's where Anthony Walker comes in. This is what they're here for. And Michael Carter, no disrespect, you're not Christian McCaffrey. Browns just saw a good receiving back last week. Didn't seem to have many issues with Christian McCaffrey, so you're going to have to be, obviously mindful of that. The two biggest issues from week 1 against Carolina was the Browns' failure to communicate within the secondary. The way things work. You do something wrong, guess what you do the next week in practice? And you do it, and you do it, and you do it, and they don't let up on you. There will be no coverage miscommunications this week, I guarantee you. Because if there is, Joe Woods ain't covering for anybody a second time. He took one of those responsibilities for his own last week. He is not going to do that this week. These guys will be on the ball. Look, Garrett Wilson, obviously a good player. Corey Davis, good player. Elijah Moore, good player. So for the Browns secondary, this is a test you're looking for. You want to go against these guys. But the other thing for the Browns secondary, we think we are this good. So we got to go out there and prove it. These are some slippery suckers. These guys can catch the ball. They can make plays in space. It's got to be catch. You're going to give up receptions. That's understandable. Yards after catch, that is not going to be that. You cannot have that stuff. Delpit, John Johnson, they got to be on their game. They got to be tackling. They got to be ferocious. But Garrett, I agree with you. Here's another. I think the Browns defense is better than the defense. Yes, I do. So I understand what people are saying about last week. I think the Browns defense is one of the best in the league. So I expect a better performance, and I expect them to be able to do to the New York Jets what the Baltimore Ravens did, where they hold them to single digits. This defense is just that legit.
Yeah, I think people get by on name brand recognition. The Ravens are a team that
Ray Lewis is still there. What what?
Ed Reed coming back. Ed Reed, the ghost of Ed Reed is coming through the door, my man. You got all these boys up there. Tony Siragusa is up there still. Sam Adams is still up there. Shout out to Tony Siragusa, by the way. And also Sackmaster Terrell Suggs. Man, listen, all that's done. The Browns have an opportunity in this game, and I want to see how nasty they is, Jeff. Because this is a team that I feel like you could have a shutout against. People have been whispering shutout. I know they're professionals, but I want to see the measuring rod, the measuring stick for this team and what they can do, because I think this is going to be a special defense. Just clean up some of that stuff in the back end. I'm interested in seeing what they got going against the Jets.
Absolutely, totally. I think my feelings as this game has gone on, as this week has gone on, become stronger and stronger for the Cleveland Browns. And part of it is realizing what you think the expectations are. I've been babbling for months here about the expectations of this team. And, you saw it come out from, NFL AM, where, did we maybe underestimate the Cleveland Browns? Well, maybe some of y'all did. Some of y'all were looking at this team with in your eyes for a move they made. Garrett, we've been looking at this team logistically. This team is good. 52 guys, one guy notwithstanding. This is still a damn good roster. They're going to show it Sunday in a home opener. And for anybody that's going, you guys have an absolute blast, because I guarantee you that place is going to be pretty much, off the chain on Sunday. Take it easy in the Muni lot, though, man. You don't want to be falling asleep in the second half. You don't want to be that dude, all right? Jeff Lloyd, Garrett Bush, latest Locked On Browns pregame style Jets Browns, Sunday, 1 o'clock. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all your pro and college football betting needs and sports info this season. Find all the latest football league developments, game matchups, news, and podcasts, including this year's opening week games. BetOnline is also your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, including live betting, esports, and scores. The fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite sports and events, including MLB, MMA, boxing, and golf. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Welcome back to the Locked On Brown podcast. G. Bush, Jeff Lloyd. We want to always tell you right now, before you get settled, remember, here, you can definitely catch on the bar. Now, I almost said the barbershop. Well, I already got that, man. You can definitely check out the Locked On Browns podcast. And guess what? We will have the post-game show simulcasting live right here on Locked On Brown podcast. How do you get that podcast? How do you get the post-game show? Well, it's easy, obvious. Make sure you subscribe. We're over 3,000 subscribers. We're continuing to grow. This is probably one of the fastest growing channels I've ever been a part of. I have an individual channel. I have the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. But I tell you what, Locked On Browns is probably one of the fastest growing channels that I've been a part of. And I've been a part of a lot of them. So if you want to get that post-game show, the 2-minute warning. The 2-minute warning is the name of the show. Me, Jeff, Adam the Bull, Mikey McNuggets, we will come on live at 2-minute warning. Make sure you tune in. Last week, if you missed it, you missed a good one. We were out there moving around. We got to go step by step and break down the kick, the getting in field goal position, and to be able to see that live, it was great. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you do, you will get a notification that says, hey, the boys over there is going live. 2-minute warning post game is starting up, and go ahead and click on and be right in that. So this is going to be a great opportunity. And we'll be doing that. 19,000 was there last week. We trying to get 20, 21, 22,000 this week. So let's keep on doing it. The best post game show in all of Cleveland for all Brown fans is the 2-minute warning. Jeff, we've talked about offense. We've talked about defense. Let's get into what your thoughts are specifically. There's a couple of different things I want to go. We'll get to what are your keys to victory. What do you need to see and what you need to expect from the Cleveland Browns. To me, I'll go and say I don't think Conklin's going to play. That's fine. He's not going to play this week. We kind of mentioned that before too. But here's the thing. I'll tell you what. All of this sets up very nicely going into that Thursday night game, right? And for the Browns, what you want is to gain that momentum. You want that steam. You want to be 2-0 going into that game. You look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm not just saying this to look past them. We're looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have a quarterback in Mitch Trubisky. They played tough competition, had the Bengals week 1. You look at that, it's a short week on a Thursday night, and they won't have TJ Watt. Think about that. He just went on IR a couple of hours ago, and he will not be there for the first, I think, 6-7 weeks of the season past now. So think about this. You get a good time. You get a good solid win against the Jets. You set yourself up. You're feeling better about yourself. And remember, all I said is survive, win and survive, win and survive. If it doesn't matter how clean it is, doesn't matter who threw for 300, don't matter who got the stats. You need to come into this game and understand that you can do a lot of goodwill. You come in and you smoke the Jets. You come in, you get Myles Garrett that sack record. You come in and you get Amari Cooper his first touchdown as a Cleveland Brown. You come in and get 100 apiece for Chubb and Hunt. You come in and Schwartz look like he want to catch the football. Come on, man. This is going to be that's a beautiful thing. Now you set yourself up coming back on a short week in a primetime game, and you can say, look, every week we talk about it. We get closer and closer to that 11-game mark. You know what happened when that 11-game mark come back. I'm excited about it. Our goal was to stay stay above water while Deshaun Watson was out, and 2-0 is a lot better than 1-1.
Well, especially with the short week. I mean, because look, I mean, the bumps and bruises. when you get off the field on Sunday, but got to go play Thursday. Let me tell you something: the bumps and bruises, they ain't gonna hurt as bad when it's 2-0 as opposed to 1-1. I think James Hudson's going to start Sunday at right tackle. I think James Hudson's going to start Thursday night too. I think we're playing with Conklin is going to say, all right, well, we'll just take this to October. We're going to give you as much rest as possible, and then we'll take it from there, see where we're at then. So I think James Hudson's going to be a little extended playing time here over the next couple of weeks. And I think part of the reason why they're doing that is not just being so much cautious with Jack Conklin is kids play well. So you have a lot more confidence in saying, all right, well, we'll let Hud go out there for another week. Jack, take your time. It's fine. Don't worry about it. 17 game, 18, 19, 20, however long this thing goes, you want your guys hopefully be as fresh as possible and be the best of their abilities. Also going to, I think the Jets' lack of safety play this is where it's going to show up a little bit this week for the Browns. Need to get a little bit more going in the vertical game. So I think that's going to pose some opportunities. Amari Cooper versus Sauce Gardner. I'm really looking forward to this one. The rookie everything's gone his way. I mean, everything's gone his way since the day he stepped foot on campus in Cincinnati. But this is Amari Cooper, man. This is one of the best as far as route running goes. Amari Cooper gets many a veteran's lunch. I don't think he's going to have a problem maybe getting a step on a rookie. Can Jacoby Brissett play to the play speed that he needs to get this passing game going? David Njoku, 1 reception last week. Hopefully that's going to pick up a little bit because obviously Browns have a lot invested and feel highly about what David can do here. And continued, another step forward for the kid wide receivers. Donovan Peoples-Jones, Anthony Schwartz last week, combined 100 yards. That's a great start. Can we get David Bell integrated? Can we get these guys still feeling good about themselves? Because as the momentum grows, and this was what the key is that Garrett and I talked about for these first couple of games, is the guys in that locker room need to believe in each other, need to understand, that Batman ain't coming until week 12 in Houston. So, they can send up a signal all they want. He can't answer. I think it's going to get done. I think this game is going to go smoothly. I think this game is going to be, it should really go the Browns' way when we fire it up at the 2-minute drill on Sunday. I don't think we all going to be sitting around gnawing at whatever fingernails we might got left. And let's, and the other thing, let's not make this a habit of putting this thing in poor kid York's lap, right? Week 1, that was great. The kid, let's not do that to the kid, man. You got 52 other guys out there able to ball out. This is a team that is ripe for the pickings. The Jets are just kind of in like a wait-and-see mode right now, playing these games out so they can get Zach Wilson out there and see what their product is. I think it'll be a big day. Congratulations to Joe Thomas. Obviously, all you people, enjoy yourself, get geeked up. It's going to be a blast Sunday. Browns should handle the Jets. I'm going to say double digits.
I agree. I listen, I had a 31-17. I think the Browns defense plays a really good game. I think they only get to 7 points. They have 10 points to most of the game, and then they get a 7-point late. But I think the Browns win this game, and I think we're now starting to gain some momentum. The goal is to get this defense back to where it needs to be, and I want to see them continue to still establish that running game. And then at the same time, get Jacoby Brissett feeling a little better about themselves. And I don't want to hear it. I already know what it is. Look, if Jacoby Brissett plays well against the Jets, let's not start talking about, well, it was the Jets. What is he going to – it's one game at a time. You can only play us on your schedule. Would you rather him play bad? Okay, then. So let's just go ahead and cut that out right now. I think the Browns do a good job of making that win. We get that win on Sunday.
Absolutely. It's been a monster week here. Subscribers to the channel, almost over 200 this week. Winning helps, of course, but putting out a quality product day in, day out, like Garrett and I do, that is a key of it. So thanks for everybody who does that. For everybody who makes Locked On Browns their first listen every day, whether it's on your favorite podcast platform or, of course, now on YouTube. Subscribe. And, of course, notifications on the YouTube channel. That way, once the content drops, and we're going to try and go with a consistency here at noon every day. We're finding the R flow as far as schedules and stuff like that. Garrett's life, my life, we think we got that finally in sync. So that should hopefully be the norm from here on out. Just excited. Browns opener, a lot of excitement. Everyone's been geeked about the field. Joe Thomas, Myles Garrett with a chance to get this record should make for a fun Sunday in First Energy. With everything else going on, make sure Garrett Bush today, Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, Monday through Friday, 11 on YouTube. Make sure you're checking the guys out there. Of course, the barbershop Saturday mornings. Garrett's over there kicking it every Saturday morning, having a blast with that. So make sure you're checking that out. Make sure you're following Garrett at GBush91. Myself, Jeff Lloyd at Jeff_LJ_Lloyd. The show at Locked On Browns. Follow back account. DMs are open. Everybody knows the drill. Just trying to get through this. And, I'm probably a little bit more hyped on a Friday than I should be for a Sunday game. But there's a lot of great storylines here. And I think the Browns are going to come out. And I think they are going to put on a show for the folks in First Energy. All that being said, we'll see you at the 2-minute drill Sunday. 2-minute warning, as hopefully the Browns are closing out a victory over the New York Jets. This has been your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound, LGB on the LOB. Let's go Browns.